family and friends. Charlie Shane here to do another truck camper mod video. And this is to my chalet double slide. And I'm broadcasting here from our brand new RV bay in Florida. But this mod involves the back steps. And as you can see in the back there, my steps have always been an issue, and most truck campers, they become an issue because of the height variations. So let's take a walk back there and see what I'm talking about. Okay, so what you see here is basically what would come relatively standard on a truck camper. It's a set of steps that folds into a compartment, especially on a double slide like ours with a side entry. These stairs hide away, and then when you want to use them, you just pull them out. Now this works great in general, except I have the camper leveled right now, and this bottom step to the ground is 20 inches off the ground. Now that's way too high, so consequently, we normally carry an additional step like this, but that's sort of a pain in the neck. And as you can see, this distance here isn't quite right, so it never really works out right. And because the ground varies all the time, it could be more or less. And then to compound it, if we take the truck camper off the truck, and we normally would lower it way down, where this comes down to here, which is perfect. So in some instances, when it's off the truck, these steps work perfect. But when it's on the truck, they're just not far enough. If you try to have a fourth step, it starts getting even more unstable. So my goal is to fabricate another set of steps that'll rest on the ground and then hook on to this metal plate that you can take off, take on, so when you're using the camper on the truck, you'd use these additional steps. When you have the camper off the truck, you'd use these steps. So it has to be able to be used in either situation. So that's my goal for today. Now, I can fabricate almost anything, except I look long and hard for a set of steps, step stools, things like that, step ladders, that I can use and modify. So what I found was these little giant steps, and they neatly unfold, as you see, like that. So my goal is to take this set of steps, which I like this way they fold, flat, so I can store them. But this height isn't quite right. It has to go up a couple inches. So I need to take this whole ladder apart while maintaining these steps that you see. And then I'm going to take this step out of piece and it'll hook onto this plate. So that's my goal. Let's go take this thing apart. Okay, here we are in my new wood shop. It's time to start taking this apart. And what I really don't want is this back section. I want the ladder, but not all this support section. So that's what I'm going to take off. Okay, that's 2 more snap rings removed. Now I'm pulling these pins. Perfect. That's just what I wanted. There we go. Perfect. Just what I wanted. These steps open up nicely. And then you can tilt, so I can hook them onto the trailer. Nice, I took it all apart without any cutting or anything. Well, here you have it. This is the steps roughly in place. Each of these steps is 9 inches, and then this step up to here is 9 inches. So my plan is to attach some eye bolts to the back of the top step with a rod that'll go across to these metal plates that'll hold the weight, and that will support the top. That way it'll also allow it to adjust to uneven ground on the bottom. And that's where I'm going to make another piece to help this design work better. The next thing I want to work on is getting some adjusters for this bottom. I would actually like to allow this whole thing to change height based on the ground. The ground may be a lot lower or a little higher. So right now, to be perfectly level, it should be up about this high. So I do have some downward ability, but I want to make some wooden wedges that are going to go under this bar you see here. And there'll be little notches, so you could do one side or the other side. So we're going to work on that next. There we go. So these are all the spots I got to drill in a router, a groove right there. Each one of these spots, and that'll give me increments up the incline for the ladder to sit in. Okay, after carefully holding the steps up to the trailer and finding out where it's centered, I want to take my 3/4 inch shaft and it's going to go through this plate and this plate. So after getting the height right, 9 inches, which is that step and all the rest of these steps, I wanted 9 inches down. That comes just under this arm like this. So that's my plan, is to drill a hole right there and over here. And you get one shot at this. So it has to be the same depth in, the same depth down. And I have it laid out, and now I just have to use a center punch to mark the spot we go. Perfect. Alright, so this is how this rod will go through the trailer and support the steps. And then when I want to travel, I take this out. And then I want to fold these stairs up, so that's why these hooks are here. As you can see, when the stairs fold flat, these don't interfere with anything. So they're totally out of the way, and now I can easily store these out of the way. Okay, one thing I did do, this step, as you see here, is actually all aluminum. And it's just a relatively thin, less than 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16 aluminum, which I feel is a little flexible. And I attached these eye hooks to it, and I was afraid, even though I put a piece of steel in here, that this whole plate may flex a little when you get excessive weight on the step. So one thing I did to try to combat that is, as you can see here, I put in, besides this piece of steel that runs the whole length, I put in a piece of 1/4 inch thick angle iron. It's aluminum, it runs the full length. I have bolts, 4 bolts on the outside here that bolt to the steel. So if this tries to flex, this will try to move, and then this will all be caught. And that piece of aluminum will try to flex, and then I put up 3 bolts, stainless steel carriage bolts, through the aluminum, and they come out right here. So now this top step is very, very stable. If this tries to flex at all, this piece of aluminum and the steel will keep that back nice and rigid. So I think we're all set for a good tryout this weekend. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to assemble this. Something I need to show you first though is I made 3 pieces of PVC pipe. These will go like this, and they're made to space the steps evenly. And this middle piece is a T, as you see. And this, when the pipe goes through this, it gets supported all the way down to the base of these other steps, the trailer itself. This way, any excessive weight on the steps will be carried by this piece and not just the shaft alone. So this makes the whole system a lot more stronger and able to carry heavier weights. Here's the step. Get that started. And then this middle piece. See, the shaft just slides nicely through the whole thing. Then this piece. All the way. And then the clip on the end. There you go. Now, as you can see, the step can't go anywhere. It's centered perfectly, and it's able to carry lots of weight. No problem. The next thing I'd like to demonstrate is, depending on the conditions on the ground, if it slopes way down, you need to accommodate for that. So these are the blocks I made. And the way they work is you just take them, take the 2 blocks, stick them under here, and put them like that. And that is nice and rugged. It supports both sides of the step. Now you can actually go way up to here. All right? Way up to the top. And if you do get way up like this, I would actually turn them around. Like that. So that way, they're not in your way. So this allows for a lot of ground variation. And they're made out of pressure treated wood and polyurethane. So here they are on. Solid as a rock.